What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm picking NFL Week 12 matchups, so let's hop into it. And if you like this type of stuff, please consider subscribing. It would really mean a lot to me. But anyway, last week my record was 10-4 picking NFL games, and that brings my overall record to 97-67 picking games. And this week, no teams are on their bye, so all 32 teams play, and we have a full 16 game slate. And on top of all that, we have 10 divisional matchups, so this should be a really good week in football. And we have 3 Thursday night games, 1 Friday game, and then the rest are on Sunday, and that is because it is Thanksgiving weekend. So happy Thanksgiving to all you guys out there. Let me know what your favorite Thanksgiving dish is down below, or your favorite Thanksgiving tradition. But anyway, let's hop straight into the picks. And our first matchup right here on Thursday at noon 30, we have the Green Bay Packers on the road at the Detroit Lions. So we have an NFC North matchup right here. The Packers were able to win last week against the Chargers. The Lions, on the other hand, they were able to win last week against the Chicago Bears in a game that they probably shouldn't have won. Chicago definitely fell off at the end of that game and let Detroit snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. But regardless, this is Detroit's best record since the 1960s, which is just insane. They're sitting at 8-2. They're leading their division, and they're still in the running for the number one seed in the NFC, which is just crazy. I had high hopes for Detroit this season. I definitely thought they were going to make it back to the playoffs. But with the number one seed still in play for them, they are exceeding expectations. At least they are exceeding mine. But a huge divisional matchup right here on Thanksgiving. And this isn't the same Detroit Lions team from years past. And I don't think they're going to have much issue right here dispatching the Green Bay Packers. The Packers have kind of just had a roller coaster year. Jordan Love in some games looks like he's the next guy. Other games, kind of scratching your head. So definitely a roller coaster ride for Packers fans. At least that's how it seems from an outside perspective. So I do have Detroit winning this game right here, getting things started this week by a score of 31-20. And then moving over to the NFC East at 4:30, we have the Washington Commanders on the road at the Dallas Cowboys. The Commanders lost to the Giants again last week. The Cowboys, on the other hand, they got a pretty easy win against the Carolina Panthers, so they're sitting pretty at 7-3, just trying to keep pace with the Eagles in their division. And this is just another game right here where I don't think it's going to be that much of a challenge right here for the Dallas Cowboys. That's who I'm picking to win this game. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal for this Cowboys team to beat the Commanders. The Commanders are another team that they play decent one week, then they lose the next, and they're sitting at 4-7. So overall, not playing great. And I have the Cowboys winning by a score of 40-28. Then we have our last Thanksgiving game. This time it is at 8:20. We have the San Francisco 49ers on the road at the Seattle Seahawks. So moving on over to the NFC West here. So all NFC teams right here on Thanksgiving. The 49ers, they won last week. Brock Purdy had a perfect passer rating, and that was the 49ers first since Joe Montana did it. So the 49ers were clicking last week. The Seahawks, on the other hand, they lost to the Rams. And this game right here is huge. If the Seahawks win it right here, they'll take the lead in the division. The 49ers win it right here, they expand their lead in the division. So huge implications on the line for this game, not only within the division, but playoff standings and all that fun stuff right here. But the way the 49ers are playing right now, they did have that 3 game losing streak earlier in the season, but that definitely seems way behind them at this point. And once again, I don't think the 49ers are going to have much trouble winning this game right here, even though it's on the road. I do think this will probably be the closest of the 3 Thanksgiving games right here, but I have the 49ers winning it 27-10. But I kind of see them like pulling away more towards the end of it where it's going to be closer for majority of it. Then we have our first ever Black Friday game right here. We have the Miami Dolphins on the road at the New York Jets. So we're moving on over to the AFC, or the AFC East, I should say. And the Dolphins, they're playing good football right now. They're sitting at 7-3. The Jets, on the other hand, is a completely different story. They got blown out by the Bills last week. Zach Wilson got benched at the end of that game. And not only that, is they moved him to the third string quarterback. So they're planning on starting Tim Boyle in this game. And Zach Wilson's not even going to back him up. He's going to be the third string quarterback for the Jets. And this Jets season could go down the drain really fast. If they're not in contention by the time Aaron Rodgers thinks he can return, I don't see him playing this year. And the Jets season is just going to be a wash. But Miami, on the other hand, they're playing good right now. A win over a division opponent right here is huge for them. I know a lot of teams are thinking about playoff seeding right now and getting as many wins as they can against teams that they are better than. And Miami definitely needs to win this game right here. If they lose to the Jets, not only does that hurt their playoff chances a little bit, even though they're sitting at 7-3, but it keeps the Jets in the running for this and just makes that whole division a little bit tighter. But I do have the Dolphins winning this game. But once again, another relatively easy win right here. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as some of the other ones, but I have them winning it by a score of 24-6. And then moving over to our Sunday slate of games, the first game we have is the New Orleans Saints on the road at the Atlanta Falcons. So once again, another divisional game. Like I said before, there's 10 this week, so a bunch of divisional matchups. So the Saints and the Falcons, both of these teams are coming off their bye week, so an extra week to rest, an extra week to prepare for this game against a divisional rival. And this is one of those games that could really go either way, just depending on who shows up. If the Saints offense is clicking, then I could definitely see them pulling away and winning this game rather easily. Atlanta, on the other hand, turnovers have definitely plagued them this year, turning it over at costly times, not getting crucial scores and stuff like that. So if they turn the ball over and stuff, that could plague them. The Saints could easily run away. In the NFC South as a whole division, not looking too great right now. The Saints are the only team above 500 and they're sitting at 500. So probably once again for the second year in a row, they are probably the worst division in football right here. So whoever wins this game is in good standing within the division. If the Saints win, they increase their lead. If the Falcons win, they will take the lead over the Saints. But overall, I think the Saints have a more complete, more consistent team than the Falcons, even though their offense has kind of been up and down this year. I do have the Saints winning this game by a score of 20-16. Now we're moving on over to the AFC North. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road at the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Steelers, after their loss to the Browns this past week, they fired offensive coordinator Matt Canada. So I think that is a sigh of relief for many Steelers fans out there. I'm not sure, I'm not a Steelers fan, so let me know, Steelers fans, if you're happy with this. So hopefully this can open up the Steelers offense. I'm not sure about that with Kenny Pickett under center. I think they'll probably be better off with Mitch Trubisky or even Mason Rudolph under center. But regardless, changes are coming for that Steelers coaching staff. The Bengals, on the other hand, they will be without quarterback Joe Burrow. He did suffer a season-ending wrist injury last week on Thursday Night Football, so that's a devastating blow to this Bengals team that was sitting at 500. So Browning will be their backup quarterback for the remainder of the season, and I'm not sure how that's going to go for this Bengals team. When Joe Burrow earlier this season was playing injured, this Bengals team, for lack of better terms, they just absolutely sucked. And I kind of see them reverting back to that as they don't really have like a shutdown defense like a team like the Steelers or the Browns or the Broncos as of late. So I have a hard time seeing Cincinnati win this game right here and really make any noise for the rest of the season. So their season, in my opinion, is a wash. The Steelers, on the other hand, they still got a chance. If Kenny Pickett can turn the things around, if Matt Canada proved to be the thorn in the Steelers' side, then they're in good shape, but they need to win this game right here. And I do have the Steelers winning it. I do think it's going to be a low scoring AFC North game right here, especially because without Burrow and the Steelers' offense just in general, these offenses are lacking. So I have the Steelers winning it right here by a score of 23-13. And then finally, we don't have a divisional matchup right here. We have the Carolina Panthers on the road at the Tennessee Titans. So really not the greatest of games right here. Both of these teams are well below 500. The Panthers only have one win this year. The Titans have three. But this will be a battle of rookie quarterbacks. We got number one overall pick Bryce Young on the Carolina Panthers versus a second round rookie quarterback in Will Levis. So who will win this battle? Bryce Young did beat CJ Stroud earlier in the year, and the Texans are pretty good. So there is a chance for Carolina right here in this game, but I'd have a hard time picking them. They've only won one game this year. So I am picking the Tennessee Titans in this game by a score of 27-24, as I do think it will be pretty close, but I could also see this game being very sloppy because of the lack of experience at the quarterback position. Then we have yet another NFC South versus AFC South game right here. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are coming off their bye week, so extra week of rest, extra week to prepare for this Buccaneers team right here. The Buccaneers did lose last week to the 49ers, so they're looking to get back in that win column. And even though they're sitting at 4-6 right here, their division is still pretty open just because of how bad it is. So a win right here for the Buccaneers is huge. The Colts, they're sitting at 500. They're in that tightly contested AFC, so every win counts for them. And I think the Buccaneers pull off a stunner right here. I think they go into Indianapolis and get a shocking win. I think Baker Mayfield just leads them over the Colts, all the while keeping the Buccaneers in the race while kind of hurting the Colts' chances in the AFC. But yeah, I have the Buccaneers pulling off a stunner right here by a score of 23-14. And then we have what may be arguably the worst game of this week, shockingly. We have the New England Patriots that are sitting at 2-8 on the road at the 3-8 New York Giants. So both of these teams have underachieved a bunch this season. The Patriots kind of having some quarterback issues. Mac Jones has been benched in numerous games at this point. The Giants are down to their third string quarterback in DeVito. So not much right going for both of these teams right here. I think the Patriots will go in there and win a stunner of a game right here. I think Bill Belichick can coach this Patriots team up and confuse a rookie third string quarterback right here and what the Giants have in DeVito. So even though the Giants are coming off their third win of the season, with the Patriots coming off their bye week, I feel like they'll just go in there, get a shocking win right here, and I have them winning this low-scoring game right here by a score of 17-9. Now back to a divisional matchup. We have an AFC South showdown right here. We have the 7-3 Jacksonville Jaguars on the road at the 6-4 Houston Texans. And once again, this is another huge game right here. Jacksonville is leading the division, but only by one game. And if Houston wins this game right here, not only do they take first place in the division, but they move out of the wild card into one of the top four seeds in the playoffs, which at the beginning of the season I thought was definitely a long shot for them to make the playoffs, but they're definitely the surprise team this year. I didn't expect them to do this good, but good for them that they're doing this right here. CJ Stroud's playing lights out, and this Houston Texans team just seems to be clicking all over the ball. And the Jaguars, once again, they're another team that's also clicking. So this should be a really fun game right here. I think it's going to be a shootout, and I think this game right here could probably be the highest scoring game of the week. But I'm going to give it to the Houston Texans. I think CJ Stroud and the boys are just going to hold on long enough, just score enough points, and I have them winning this highly contested game right here by a score of 35-31. Then we have the Cleveland Browns on the road at the Denver Broncos. The Browns are coming into this game at 7-3 with wins over the Ravens and the Steelers in previous weeks. The Broncos are coming in at 5-5 after their really bad start to this season. They've definitely turned the ship around. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson are definitely clicking. Russell Wilson's having a pretty underrated year, but they've come off wins against the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Vikings in their previous week, so this should be a really good matchup. And this Broncos team as a whole is playing really good right now. The Browns, on the other hand, they're also playing pretty good. They're led by that Myles Garrett-led defense. So if the Browns want to win this game right here, they got to lean on that defense. They got to shut the Broncos offense down. The Broncos, on the other hand, their defense has to come up big against this Browns offense. Granted, the Browns will be starting rookie quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and the key for him is just not to turn the ball over in this game. And if he doesn't turn the ball over, I think it's just going to be a super close one score game right here. The Browns are 4-0 in games decided by 3 points or fewer. So that kind of plays into the Browns' favor. And that's why I'm leaning towards the Browns, is because they're no stranger to these close score games, but neither are the Broncos. So this game could really go either way. It wouldn't surprise me if it ended in a tie, but I doubt that's going to happen. But I do have the Browns squeaking one out right here in Denver by a score of 17-16. Now back to some more divisional matchups. This time we're in the NFC West. We have the Los Angeles Rams on the road at the Arizona Cardinals. The Rams got a win against the Seahawks last week to improve to 4-6. The Cardinals, on the other hand, lost to the Texans, so they're sitting at 2-9. But getting Kyler Murray back a couple of weeks ago for this Cardinals team has been huge. They have been playing better. They've already won one game, and I think they'll win this game right here against the Rams. Granted, the Rams are coming off a win, and they're not playing terrible right now, but the Cardinals have hung around in a lot of games this season. And I think this is just one of those games where they finally just get over the hump and win it. But I have them winning this game by a score of 26-21. Then moving on over to the AFC West, we have the Kansas City Chiefs on the road at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs lost to the Eagles in a Super Bowl rematch last week on Monday Night Football. The Raiders, on the other hand, they did lose to the Dolphins, their first loss with interim coach Antonio Pierce. And on top of everything, with the Chiefs' loss to the Eagles, they did fall out of the number one seed in the AFC, but it's still pretty early, so it's still anybody's game for that spot. And the Raiders, since their coaching change, they have been playing a lot better football right here, and I think they give the Chiefs a run for their money right here. I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs, but like I said, I do think they'll make it close. They'll make it competitive for majority of the game, but I do have the Chiefs winning this game by a score of 31-17. Then we have the Buffalo Bills on the road at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Bills smacked down the Jets last week. So I know a lot of people are saying the Bills are back, but I'm not so sure of that, because when you beat down a team that has been struggling a bunch, I don't know how much that tells of how good you are or how bad they are. So I'm not fully convinced that the Bills are back right here and ready to make a run, especially they're going into Philadelphia to play the 9-1 Eagles right here. So if they put up a good showing against the Eagles, if they beat the Eagles, which the Chiefs couldn't do, then I'll maybe hop on board and say the Bills are back. But I'm kind of leery of that right now. The Eagles, on the other hand, like I said, they beat the Chiefs last week. They're playing really good. They got the number one seed in the NFC. And I think they're the first team to get to 10 wins this year with a win over the Buffalo Bills by a score of 24-20. Then on Sunday Night Football, we have the Baltimore Ravens on the road at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Ravens were able to beat the Bengals last week in a divisional game. The Chargers, on the other hand, did lose to the Green Bay Packers, and I just feel so bad for Chargers fans at this point. Their defense is just such a major letdown, and it sucks. Being a Browns fan, I know how bad it is when your team sucks and you're so close to winning, but you just can't. So I sympathize with you guys. But this is a game where, even though the Ravens will be without tight end Mark Andrews, as he suffered what is thought to be a season-ending injury. I know Harbaugh did say that, like, there's an outside chance he could come back this year, maybe in the playoffs or something like that, but I'm just going that he's going to be out for the rest of the season just to be safe. So the Ravens will be without one of their top offensive weapons, but they still got Lamar Jackson, Odell Beckham, Zay Flowers, so their offense is plenty explosive. And this Chargers defense will be without Joey Bosa, so that's just another hit on them. And I have a hard time seeing the Chargers winning this game just because I don't think their defense can stop and hold the Ravens when needed. So I have the Ravens winning this game against the Chargers right here by a score of 27-23. Then closing out week 12, we have an NFC North showdown. We have the Chicago Bears on the road at the Minnesota Vikings. The Bears probably should have beat Detroit last week, but they just fell apart in the final minutes of the fourth quarter and lost that game. The Vikings, on the other hand, they kind of should have beat the Broncos, at least in my opinion, but the Broncos came back and won that game right here. So both of these teams are coming off a loss. The Bears did get Justin Fields back last week, and he played really good. He had over 100 rushing yards. So not only did he almost beat the Lions, but he also had 100 rushing yards on top of all of his passing yards. The Vikings, on the other hand, they're looking to just kind of get back in the win column. Their, what was it, 5-game winning streak or 6-game winning streak or something got snapped. So like I said, they're just trying to get back in the win column. And this is my last upset pick of the week. I think if Chicago comes out this game and plays like they did last week against Detroit, I could very easily see them beating the Vikings right here. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think Justin Fields is going to come out energized, have another really good game, and beat the Vikings right here in Minnesota. I think it'll be a one-score game, though, but I do have the Bears winning it by a score of 28-20. So yeah, those are my NFL Week 12 picks. Please let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I'll catch you with another video. God bless.